What's up, everyone? Welcome to the Dust2.us.tv. Every single little acronym that we have after your live show here at Fragadelphia 16 Winter Champs. What a year it has been. What an event it has been so far this weekend. We have seen so many teams coming through. We've had international teams grace us with their presence. And so far we have games going on behind us. We got a third map between Carpe Diem and Strife. I think that the Team 1 Bad News Bears game is still going on. That might be in the closing stages right now. But that game certainly is getting a little bit heated between the two. I'm hearing some shouting, hearing some celebrations there. So, Jeff, I'm joined by you. It's very nice to be here together. Why don't you talk us about a little bit about Frag, how this event has kind of grown from what was a dingy little brick old building in Northeast Philly, spread across to so many different venues across the city, even went to California and is now right here in the block.
Well, you know, with what you see with the growth of Fragadelphia really mirrors the growth of the grassroots scene in North America. Like you said, you know, your first like 5 to 10 frags were, you know, an old basically warehouse, and you had, what was it back then, like only like 6 to 10 setups. So you'd have people leaving, you have people coming and going. All, you know, match days would go until like 1, 2, 3 a.m. as you're just, you know, trying desperately to deal with like early CSGO server issues, deal with, you know, computers crashing, deal with like random spec computers. And we've really seen, you know, Fragadelphia with Nerd Street Gamers grow up to be like NA's really a premier tournament organizer. They've taken what was, you know, a twice a year tournament for 10K and turned it into a complete, you know, online, offline LAN circuit. And it's really amazing to see, you know, what they've been able to accomplish in lieu of, let's say, other stakeholders in the scene sort of moving away from NA.
Yeah, you know, it was really interesting. This year they did have that whole circuit. So you had a bunch of the Fragadelphia events. There was a Bakersfield one, there was Philadelphia, there was a Chicago one.
Yeah.
And there was another one I'm forgetting?
Bakersfield, Chicago. There's a smaller one in Philly. There was the block launch.
Yes.
And then there was the one in like the suburbs of Philly, yeah.
Yeah, so we had a ton of the events all throughout the year, so it's been very great. We did have a number of teams that had actually qualified for the event, however, they are not here right now. So we're talking about Complexity, who were Extra Salt. They did a number of events. They had some online events too, which granted Fragadelphia points. That's how you were able to get teams from all over the country that couldn't necessarily travel. So you had they were there. Daps's Orgulous team was there, or qualified. Apologies. And then who else?
Complexity. So you had Complexity, who earned enough circuit points as Extra Salt. You had Dap's Orgulous team that just recently got enough circuit points. I think they played and won the last online event. And then you had
Party Astronauts.
Party Astronauts, right? Party Astronauts.
Party Astronauts had to leave because they decided against them coming. I was talking with Munster, the coach,
right?
And he was talking to me. He's like, you know, because of the recent change where Cynic left the team eventful manner. They wanted to make sure that they get enough practice in. They wanted to kind of be off land, and then they were also, you know, worried about travel and potential COVID stuff like that. So yeah, they really wanted to make sure that they could go off to Europe when they go play Pro League.
I think for a team like that too, you don't, you know, obviously they're not going to be able to attend the LAN with Viz, so it's like, I think they just want to get as many reps in with PTR before heading to Europe, because PTR hasn't, you know, played in many months outside of a couple Cash Cups. He's been fully retired for, you know, he's been a poker star for like a year now. So I think they just kind of were nervous about like wasting any of the time they have left to, you know, bet in their new fifth for EPL, because that's going to be way more important for them for finding a org and moving forward as a team.
Yeah, and it really is important, especially that exposure that you're going to go over there and get in Europe. You're going to have so many more eyes kind of watching you at EPL rather than, you know, an event like Frag. Frag is just so NA-centric and so much, you know, very, very focused on that grassroots plan there that we don't necessarily have everything else. I thought you were looking for our first guest. We're supposed to have Darfmike coming on soon. Oh no, he's got a couple more minutes.
Got a couple more minutes.
All right, so I don't have to yell at him yet. But what we do have very interestingly here are Team 1 and Apex Rebels. And also ATK.
And ATK.
I don't, okay, well that sounded bad when we say it like that.
When we say it like that, we have, I mean, you know, it's like, somewhere in your brain, they went from being a South African team to being an American team to going back to being a South African team, and now they're just sort of like an international mixed team, and it's like, you know, you forget sometimes that like South Africans aren't like also American citizens because for years.
AT and Sonic
For
so long.
years now, they basically have lived in America. It's like when you had Renegades who still lived in America. It was like, when they played with like the likes of Nifty and when they played with NAF, you're like, well, these guys, they don't really interact with the oceanic scene anymore. So like for all intents and purposes, they're NA players.
Yeah.
But I feel like you wouldn't say like, oh, Truth and Bowden aren't NA players, right? Yeah, like
They are the European help.
they play. They're the
The European help in Mexico.
They're
in
they're the pieces on the mantle for when you are like, we're not getting relegated this time. Like we need to avoid relegation. We need to justify the Mexican apartment. Like
No, it's good. I mean, yeah, and as we were saying, ATK, they have a team house that's based out of Monterey. I was talking with Modem earlier. We did our interview after their match late yesterday, which you can find on the Dust2.us YouTube channel. We're hearing a lot of celebrations behind us. This match, I think, is getting really close. Maybe?
they're down 3-1 right now, but Strife are fighting back right now. And I think, honestly, for me, I've always been a Strife fan, but I think that there's a strong contingent of players who won't be named who are Strife haters on Twitter. And I talked to Crisby about that, and he's a professional German coach, very analytical, very serious with his job. He doesn't partake in the Twitter drama. But when you look at let's say some interactions between like Danny 60 and like someone like Janji, people are very down on stamina as an IGL. They're very down on adding Eris to the team. They're very down on cutting Saturn. But from everything I've seen, like they look really good. Like I would say they're probably definite top 4 contenders, if not winning the event outright. Like.
No, absolutely. I got the chance to speak with Danny a little bit as well, and he was saying how they think that they are literally better than almost any one of these teams when they get the real chance to sit down and work together. However, every player is saying that when I'm trying to talk to them. Every player's like, no. If we stop trolling, we're going to be the best. We're better than Team 1. We're better than everyone else. We're the best team here. As if we just hit our shots.
We wouldn't troll on land.
We wouldn't. Right. There's no trolling on land. We've never
Cash
trolled
Cup,
on
sure, but we wouldn't.
We never, right.
Philadelphia is serious.
The
It's
NA
serious.
way of making sure that we practice the way that we play, and apparently that's translated into some Frag events as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But we should definitely talk about Apex, and we should talk about Team 1. Apex Rebels have come all the way from Norway. For those that are unaware, they're a European-based organization. They have a junior team called Apex Rebels. So that team is formulated of players that were based out of Norway, very unknown, but these players are getting organizational help. They're led by Coach Mither, who is, he's been all around
He's been all around the world, former coach of Mnmzzz, former coach of Renegades, former coach of North before that. So he's definitely done, his lap around the block as a Danish coach. But like they've really gone all out. When I had a chance to talk to him in my interview on, I believe, Friday, he talked about how they've paid to have the team like stay for a whole week, stay for a couple days before the event, brought their manager, brought a coach, or just massive amounts of organizational support from this Norwegian org that, I feel like most people don't really think about. But as you can see, they're making like money moves. They're paying for people, like, to keep Asilian on their books, to keep Stico on their books, to bring in all these, I would say like European journeyman talent. But honestly, the Norwegian kids on the academy roster have been really impressing me. Like they're killing us, right? They're
We are getting
because it's like you say like, oh, it's like well, they're these advanced teams are like, well, they're just an academy team, right? Like they're just. I've played 7 seasons of advanced, made playoffs 3 times, and then it's like 16-1, 16-0. Our good friend, GK from Davenport University, Black, 16-0, 16-1, like then showed up, went home.
It's a little rough there.
I think he's playing the Big L today, but it's definitely didn't make it out of the LSCQ with performances like that.
Okay, listen. No shows are perfectly acceptable socks. I do not feel I need to be brought into this discussion. I did this over the last summer as well. No shows are perfectly fine and very, very fashionable, okay? I do not need hate on it. I get enough hate about my hair already. I don't need more hate and personal attacks. There we go.
In case you gotta get camera. The 45-degree angle interview.
Listen, we don't have to talk about that.
The optimal interview.
And my interviews over there, getting all. Listen, I just love to give the side profile.
6'4" Ryan. He has a hard time getting enough light to come into the angle.
Ryan Friend.
Well, look who it is.
Oh my gosh, is this
famous
former Mouse Sports assistant coach
and analyst.
Analyst.
Koi Thor.
Oh my gosh.
Coach of #1 university team Davenport Panthers. What are you doing here, big guy?
How are you?
I'm all right. A little high. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Hey man, we're out here. We're doing the live show.
Oh, okay.
So we are on Twitch. See,
we are live right
there.
now.
Oh shit.
So that's you.
You want to come?
Please.
I had no idea what was happening. Hi. Hey guys.
Yeah, we're waiting.
Please don't swear. We're trying to. I mean, we're hearing enough trash talk already. I'm a little concerned about a TOS
show.
stuff.
Yeah, it's family show.
Family show.
Family
right
show.
Cool. I can do that too. I like families.
You want to come join us for a little bit while we're waiting?
You want to come sit down? We'll go over there. We'll see. We'll move the laptop.
The fans finally get what they want. They get a Max Round 30 episode on bricks.
True. Yeah.
So, anyways, we were just talking about Apex Rebels, how actually it was pretty amazing. You have all this coach, you have the organizational support. They even brought out one of their content guys is coming around. Jacob went back there, he was switching batteries with him, trying to make sure that the guy had everything ready. I mean, it's really, really nice to see how you can have some of these outside organizations recognizing Fragadelphia as a very serious event. You've obviously been a part of North American Counter-Strike for a long time. You are working very diligently with these universities. You're trying to really improve it. You're now also working with Face It. You're doing some work, right, in terms of their NAFBL program.
Soon, TM.
Soon. Okay, so soon. However, I mean, how important, just from a recognition standpoint, is it to have an organization this big travel all the way across the Atlantic to come here, play here, and genuinely take the competition very seriously?
Yeah, so I mean, first of all, it means a lot to see an org with as much status as Apex really take the talent development aspect of things really seriously. That's so cool to see them acknowledge the fact that a LAN event like this of this scale is something that they want to commit and invest in for their players. That's awesome. First of all, and second of all, it's really cool to see how it how they're stacking up against North American advanced teams, main teams, premier teams, everyone's getting their shot in against the Europeans, and that's really cool to see how the cultures are different. And I think it's going to do amazingly for the players that are here that are North American, because they're going to have an understanding of where they how their playstyle ranks in context of the world now, not just North America.
No, it was really interesting. So after, I forget which stage match that Sly partook in, he was one of the players for Apex Rebels. But I was talking with him, and one question they had was, what are the styles like? How is it really different? Are you really noticing it? And he went ahead and was like, listen, Americans, you love to just rush. You just play fast and furious, pedal to the metal. You go full on in. You hold absolutely no thinking at all. You're just going crazy. And he's like, us Europeans, we're a little bit more slow.
Slow, defaulty, methodical.
Take a little, a little attention here, a little attention there, a little use the entire minute and
we execute at 45 seconds left. Yeah, we go into the 5v5 with 45 seconds left.
It really is, and he was saying it was a little bit of an adjustment to try and figure out, and I think they dropped a map against Carpe Diem. That was one of the first maps that they've dropped this entire event, and I really wonder if that obviously had something to do with it. Because they were facing obviously worse caliber teams in the groups and everything else like that, but to drop that first map against a formidable opponent that we have here at NA, I think that is a big stylistic change that they're going to have, and I think it was really good for Carpe Diem to see, okay, we know that for some Europeans, we can steamroll them, but then we also know that they're going to play very slow, and we need to really be patient.
Yeah, I think it's good because, you don't want games to go by too quick, right? So having a team like Apex just makes it so that teams here actually have to think about who they're playing. It's not just run and gun, shoot them in the head, get out kind of thing. You have to actually put some thought and effort, which we've sort of seen that lack in the past with more recent tournaments. And so it's nice to have a refreshing change of pace where teams aren't always so confident now going into these games.
I think the confidence, though, rides high for all of these teams. As we were saying before, almost all the interviews that we've had with these guys, they've been going ahead saying, yeah, well, we're the best team as long as we just don't troll.
Well, it's they say they're all even until they're not even and they lose. It's It's, we're a new roster. We haven't had any LAN experience, but after day one, watch out. It's gonna be a whole new, Bad News Bears, a whole new Strife, a whole new Carpe Diem out there, and it's like, are you sure about that? Like, are you sure? Like,
No, it is really just how it is. I think Team 1 as well, coming in, they've been pretty dominant so far. TRK coming back into the team. It's a little bit different with Mnmzzz leaving, so obviously they've had to make some changes. So it's been good to see them kind of jump in and be aggressive. They've been performing very well right now. I don't know if that Bad News Bears game is finished. We can figure out. Mikey's over there is coming on. We might have to go kick out the fish here, but hold on. Just any last more thoughts before we do have to kick you off here?
No, actually, my brain's completely empty. No thoughts.
No thoughts, head empty.
Wait, there's no free, there's no free exit pass here. I'm gonna ask you, who's winning Fragadelphia 16?
So, personally, if Strife is hot, I think they can do it. If Apex is really hot, I think they can do it. And if Team 1 continues to play at the level they're showing and they stay consistently like that, they can do it. And then there's always that wonderful Gaming Gladiators question.
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
Who's winning?
I'm gonna be the hater. I think Gaming Gladiators is gonna do it.
So what?
Anyways.
So for those who don't really know, we have a new friend here with us. But I think
Who's this?
who's that?
Who is this? We are wanting to welcome one of my close personal friends, Darfmike. Darfmike, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm doing okay here. Yeah, I feel better holding the microphone. The host thing.
He's Dad's home. He's in charge again.
It's all right. I feel good being here.
Rogue
Feeling good
upstarts
chilling. It's always nice to be back
yeah.
at Frag. Obviously, this is my first Frag actually in the block. The last one was over at M. Night Shyamalan's house. So it's fun to be here. Fun to be chilling. Good to actually see how this whole thing works, and it's always fun to just have all of NA in one building for a day.
All right, so we're gonna ask you the same question. You gotta listen, thank you. You could hold it back. No, I'm not working. You're not working? He's on vacation time. Look at that.
Yeah, this is his union mandated lunch break.
If this is an endemic of the reason why NA has not succeeded is because he is not practicing when he could be.
He's not willing to do any more unpaid free labor. Yeah, he's not. Does he? If you're not willing to put in the hours, are you really helping NA?
Listen, you could have been here working on your host duties, for exposure. I'm gonna let this slide down.
Yeah, this man went to Academy saying Ryan's like, I'm gonna expose you to the Dusty Ash Twitch audience. Like, it's gonna be a real resume builder.
What's our number at right now? All 26 of you. I hope you know who I am. Hopefully now, based on what Ryan has blessed me with his exposure time. It's definitely him doing me a favor and not the other way around.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, what do you guys actually want to talk about here?
So you know what I want to talk about?
What do you want to talk about?
But who are Gaming Gladiators? I've never heard of those players before. What's their story, Mike? What are they all about? Who are they?
What are they all about? I mean,
what do they stand for?
What do they stand for? Apparently cryptocurrency. I don't know a whole lot about the gaming brand.
Right.
My understanding is that basically a crypto company bought Oceanus, as they were commonly censored on the. It was my favorite thing was that CS would censor the last 4 letters of their name. So yeah, I think they bought them, and then that's where this sponsorship comes through. That's my understanding. As far as where the players come from, I mean, they've been Choco Check for a while now. I think everybody kind of knows what their deal is. They've made that deal very apparent. They are Negev abusers, finals dodgers. They're here on LAN, which is exciting. They didn't used to be able to do that when Zodic was on the roster.
Let me ask you though, are you sad that you've never been able to walk up and shake Exotic's hand? Be like, hi, sir?
I don't think he exists.
You don't think he exists?
I think he's a myth.
Well, see, that's kind of like, their tentative coach, Ogre. I was always like, is this a real person?
They cut him.
They cut him.
They cut him. They cut him, and I think the tweet said because he never actually did anything for the roster, so he's been cut as coach. Yeah, so Ogre no longer the coach.
Gotcha.
Not sure how much he was ever actually the coach, but he is definitely not the coach now.
I do have, though, a serious question to bring up about this. Are we sure that Choco Check, Ogre, Exotic are not just 24-month psychology studies by Harvard University to test if North American esports professionals and journalists are capable of understanding who's actually in their scene? Because I every day goes by and I still kind of question what is going on here.
It's actually like mental adversity training. It's like every day you just like you wake up.
Is it like a Sudoku? It's like your daily Sudoku.
Yeah, it's like the daily Wordle. It's like who's playing for Choco Check today? Like it's a five letter word. Like nose rack. Like.
Genuinely, I am hoping with the sponsor, there's a level of commitment because like these guys have always had talent, right?
Some of them have talented.
Some of them have already maybe compromised that in certain ways, but they always have talent. That's really undeniable. There's a ton of skill, and a lot of these players, I mean, especially when you're looking at George, when you're looking at Classia, they're still young. They're still like building their identity within the scene, and they have huge mechanical ceilings. Like that's just very apparent. So if they're going to get a little bit more serious with the sponsor, if they're going to put in some time, if they're going to actually practice, which would be lovely to see, I do think that this team could actually do a lot of damage and may do a lot of damage here at this event. So, you know, all jokes aside, legitimately, they do have a ton of talent, and if these guys want to recommit themselves with the sponsor now coming through, that would be a great thing to see. Because I have to watch them enough anyway. I would rather not see them send it down mid with PP Bisons.
It's always on the ESL 1 guys. They love putting those guys up on there. They're like...
Well, because they play. Everyone else is like, no, we're delaying it. We got RMRs coming up. We got this event coming up.
We would prefer to play 6 best of 3s in week 8. You know, it's like...
Yeah, they actually play their dang matches. So in that sense, maybe they are the responsible
They don't stand for a lot, but they stand for the ESL broadcast schedule. That's the one thing Choco Check
everything
says.
Except the final.
Right.
You know, listen.
They're group stage gladiators. It's like they come to the show every week.
Oh, that's good. I really enjoy that.
Thank you.
That is the best. No,
You got me for like 10 minutes. So if you want to talk about them this entire time, we can. But we can also keep rolling.
The one last thing, though, I want to say one last thing, and then we can move on to Team 1 because I think that they're a much more interesting team, and their evolution has been much more interesting. No one can deny their skill. They've obviously been some of the best mechanically skilled players that we have. We're making these jokes about just the situation that it is. The genuine hope that we have for these players is that they do take it seriously, that they do improve, and they have aspirations beyond just this. They can and they should, and if they are able to do so, I don't see why teams like EG, like Liquid, you know, all Complexity even, why they can't look at some of these players and say, you know what, sure, maybe you can fit into this team, maybe you slide in, maybe this is how it can work, and there is a chance for them to really show off to the best. So,
well, you're talking about Team 1?
No, that was Gaming Gladiator. Moving on to Team 1, they've lost Mobs. TRK has come back. He is one of the top-rated players so far at this event. He's played 9 maps. He has an HLTV rating. I'm going to look it up so I do not embarrass myself because my memory is trash. It is a 1.32 overall. That's very solid at a LAN event. From what you've seen of Team 1 so far, what do you think of them, and where do you think they can go further?
First question is, do you care if I swear on the show?
No.
Cool. All right, no. TRK fucks. He's always fucked. He was amazing on Team 1 before he left. Obviously, he then moves over to MIBR. There's a bevy of issues with that roster that he's not magically going to fix when he joins them. Then he joins 0-0 Nation. They had some bright spots, but also they kept playing Lucas over him for some reason.
Well, excuse me, sir. You forgot No Plano.
No Plano. Plano was 0-0 Nation. That whole roster. There were a ton of issues with that roster, none of which I think I really blame on TRK. TRK comes back. He's the prodigal son returning. He comes back to his comfortable team, a team that he played with for a very long time, a team that they know him. You know, Maluk knows him. There's familiarity there. I don't think it's even remotely surprising that he's just kind of slotting back in and being the TRK that we expect him to be. So that I never really had any doubt by when I found out that Team 1 was going to be able to bring him back. It's like, okay, insta win. The question for me was Keys. Keys coming in as the new face, right? Replacing PRT, new player on the roster. He's delivered so far early on. And one thing that I think has been nice to see him deliver on as well is the scope, the opping. That now creates a bit of a role conflict between him and Maluk. And it does seem like, at least for the time being, Maluk's been the primary on that. But it gives them a pretty potent double op setup in a way that they didn't necessarily have before because most of their players preferred to rifle. So that's nice to see. I think Keys is delivering nicely early on here. And then the other one who is a bit of a question mark for them is XNS, in that when XNS plays well, they look really dang good. And they won Premier off of it. right? XNS had the series, the run of his life, and they won Premier and got a Pro League spot. And so when XNS delivers, and he was just top fragging, I think, in that Bad News Bears series, they look so damn good. He's a player who's had a little bit more of the inconsistency where when he's on, he's really on, and when he's off, sometimes he's a little bit of it takes a bit of a backseat. That's not the worst thing in the world when you have other star power like TRK, but ideally you need 2 stars hitting for this team to really look good, and ideally if XNS can maintain his good form and make him more consistent, he becomes that second firepower piece. So I think that I really like the way Team 1's built right now. I think your 2 question marks about this roster going forward are, can XNS ascend to that next level? Because if so, this becomes really good. And can Keys continue to deliver and improve his game as well as he adapts into this roster? And early results, I'm encouraged.
Yeah, definitely.
So I think I'm really happy about Team 1. And frankly, I think they have a really good shot of winning this event.
I think, too, Maluk just chooses...
there we go.
I mean, I think, too, like...
Ryan, put it on.
The stumbling block with the Brazilian scene is Maluk always has like a limited pool of players he's allowed to choose from, I feel like, just because of the way the Brazilian scene works, with the heavy buyouts, the heavy like export fees, the visa situation, all that. So I think he has a limited pool of who he can choose from. And I mean, that's kind of where Mnmzzz got to start was, they couldn't get a single player to come to Mexico with the team because no Brazilians were allowed to leave during the height of COVID.
Vegas, actually.
Vegas, thank you. And they couldn't get anyone to come to Brazil to America, and so they had to give Mnmzzz a chance, and for a while it was very touch and go where he'd be speaking like a weird like Spanish, Portuguese like mixture of maybe a little bit English in there, and he ended up being a star player for them, but so despite like the adversity of him not being able to maybe get always who he wants, you definitely know he chooses like smart, and he is willing also to cut people if they don't meet expectations. Like, there's players who have played for Team 1 who you don't remember. Like people who would play in like ESEA MDL, like season 27, that you've never heard of again. Like, I don't want to disparage anyone because I'm sure I'll talk shit and then it'll be like, well, actually last season he just won like the Brazilian, Brazilian Premier League, and it's like, oh, I'm an idiot. Like, not close enough. But I think one storyline too that's not really getting enough airtime. That's not getting enough airtime with Team 1 is that they have their new coach at this event because they previously signed BTT, who is a 1.6 player, and they have a new guy. His name's like Elito, and I don't really know much about him, but it's their first event with their new coach running on the ground, so that's definitely like, I think they'll just get better with time as he works his way into the system. And I mean, I think a lot of people underestimate how integral Chucky was to Team 1, and that's a reason why Godsent paid what they did to poach him alongside Barton. Is Chucky's just an amazing Brazilian coach, and he's spoken very highly of in the Brazilian scene. So I think as soon as they find whether this guy is the next coach for the team or whoever comes next, I think they'll only get better from here.
Yeah, I mean, this Team 1 roster has always been a team that likes stability, right?
Right.
And part of it is what you're talking about, where it's more difficult to bring over a Brazilian player. You can't be hot swapping like a lot of NA teams do. But it is also that they clearly value commitment and longevity. I mean, Maluk's been on that roster forever.
Despite his best efforts at some points in his career, yeah.
I think that one of the things that you notice with Maluk is when they make a change and they have to integrate a new player, his personal stats hit the shitter because he's putting a lot of work into figuring out how they're going to do and what they're going to do.
I think he realizes that at this point in his career, I think he's 32 now. I think he realizes he's somewhere between 28 to 32, which is sort of like the twilight years of your career as a player. It's like at your Taz age, your Neo age, or Kerrigan age.
Yeah.
I think he realizes now that it's more important for him to play like the bitch roles, to do what's necessary to make these guys comfortable. And then once he figures it out, then he brings them up. It's like...
That's part of why I'm curious to see whether, as time goes on, if he'll give up the op more and give it over to Keys more, and whether they'll start to work him in as a primary. It's something to definitely keep an eye on as this team develops. But, I mean, frankly, I think they're the most experienced roster here by a long shot. They have the highest level of achievement, unless you're talking about. I mean, Bad News Bears made Pro League as well, but this is not that Bad News Bears roster.
This is not your. This is
not the same team.
This is not your dad's Bad News Bears. There's no, Janji. There's no Janji screaming. There's no Junior.
So frankly, I think coming into this, just based on level of achievement, this Team 1 should have been viewed as the favorite, and I think they're showing why throughout this tournament. So I like Team 1.
I like Team 1 a lot too.
I like Team 1. I'm into it. What else we got?
Well, right now we have 132. How are you feeling?
You got like 5 more minutes.
I got 5 more minutes to do. Okay, let's run it down. There's a lot of teams that did show up here at Frag that we aren't really talking about. Are there any advanced or main teams? Or is there any individual player that you kind of saw throughout the event? Any games that you might have been casting? Anything that you might have been walking around and seeing that you kind of want to shout out? We looked at Pose, who after like the first 4 maps that he played, he had an insane HLTV rating. He was off to such a hot start. I think, and his team Touchpoint, they are now in the playoffs. I don't know what their current score is or how that's progressing. I think they don't start. Oh, they're starting the afternoon.
Start at 2 o'clock. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so they're starting at the 2 o'clock games. So that's fine, but I'm excited to see what he is able to continue to do and if he's able to do anything there. Do you have any thoughts on young players at Frag or young teams that we should highlight?
Yeah, I mean, I've been really impressed by Touchpoint. I haven't cast one of their games yet, but I've been watching. Obviously, we did an interview with Tix last night. I think the mentality's good, at least from what Tix represented. I think that for them, I mean, making playoffs is excellent. I don't know how well they're going to do against Apex Rebels. That's a pretty tough first draw, right?
First draw, yeah.
They're probably going to get shit on, to be honest with you. But I think that's fine, right? I think that the experience of this LAN, this is like their 3rd LAN ever as a team, and they've all come in the last year. I think that bringing that energy then in towards their advanced season is a great way to build upon it. So I'm impressed by Touchpoint. Nova was doing some good shooting earlier. I was impressed with Nova. I've seen him compete before, obviously, but I thought he was a pretty bright spot for his squad. Whose name eludes me right this second, but I thought they did a pretty good job. Yeah, I don't know. There have been some others as well, right? I think Big Chillin' outperformed expectations, considering they were coming in with DVL back in the roster.
I think that they were going to do anything.
Yeah, no, they had an all right run.
It's like the 5 pieces of Exodia. It's like Exen, Monk, and DVL. You can spread them out to the winds. You can like throw one in like a Thai jail. You can send one to Antarctica. You can put one in like the Arizona desert. And those 3 players will just slowly like hell or high water. They'll reassemble into the big chillin' core. Like this is like because it's like shit. Our new fit didn't work out. We can't do DVL again, can we? Unless and it's like. And then it's like, and it's like if things go really bad, they're like, well, Heedy or Caber are completely retired at this point, are they? Like, it's like the aphotic emergency rescue plan is like, is if anything goes really bad, you're like, we can survive advance with those guys, and we won't get promoted, but we'll live to fight another day. And honestly, they didn't do too bad with the emergency squad.
They're LAN gamers. They used to run the East Coast LANs, the locals. So they're LAN gamers. Mr. Matt coming on in, DVL, doing some good jobs, doing some good work. So I don't know. I enjoyed what they were able to do. Obviously, it's nice to see Big Chillin' represented as well, just because they are an asset to the North American scene. What they do in terms of building a brand, doing merch for other teams as well. So it's always cool to see them have some success. And I don't know. I'm trying to think if there's any other big surprises that I was interested in. That's what I got right off the top of my head right here.
Let's see it.
What about In Control? Any thoughts about them?
Let's talk about them.
So here's a little Fragadelphia Chicago story time.
Okay.
So they won Frag Chicago. And I think they're a really, really skilled squad. I think the additions of, Spec's doing really good work for them. They added Ecstasy as a coach, and he's someone who's been in advanced /main for like ever. I think he started playing like maybe season 23, season 22. But I think they suffer from like the quintessential like NA we're all like 19-year-old team problem is where their mental is just trash. It's just like they're incredibly skilled players, and I hope that they get more LAN experience because from everything I've seen with that team, they can play, they can win. I think they can embarrass ECL teams if they have a good day, but they need to figure out their mental. And then, like, if they get promoted this season, I kind of hope they do because I think it'll give them some more best-of-3 experience, a little bit more relaxed setting. Because, playing advanced is pretty grueling. Like, you don't get to keep bumping matches like you do in ECL. You play, 14 instead of 7 series.
What is this?
It's
show it on camera. Hold on.
Yeah, show it. Hey, show.
Slide it over.
I'm loading it in.
All right.
He's
all right. We got
it in.
a lovely piece
with
of
some fan art, some bald Ryan fan art. Yeah.
I'll be coming in a second.
He really doesn't like. He doesn't like the bald Ryan disc.
The glue's good, folks.
The glue's good. In case you're wondering, by the way, he's like not 6'4".
Yes, I am.
I am still the tallest
Stand up,
Fusty.us
Stand
writer.
up.
Yeah.
Stand up.
Come here. So
Yeah?
Mike, you are 6 foot. You're 6'8", and you're 6'7". So it's great to be a 6'4" tall boy.
just so-
I know. Being 6'4", it's just so nice. I love this.
Yeah, it's
Maybe instill.
don't trust.
Shut up.
Don't trust.
All right, what time is it?
Don't trust the footage. Like,
I got to scoot. I got to skedaddle.
right,
Thank you for
last
having me
words.
on, boys. Last words. Fragadelphia is awesome. If you're an NA gamer and you haven't been to a LAN, do yourself a favor. Come on out, whether it's as a spectator, a player, coach, whatever. Just
and
come
who's
on
winning?
out. What?
Who's winning?
Who's winning? I think Team 1's winning.
That's very fair.
I like Team 1. It hurts me to predict I mean, they're North American. Malouk's lived in this country for at least 5 years. Like, they're North American. We get to claim them now. They're adopted.
Malouk is NA.
They should be applying for citizenship at this point. Like,
JT's
we'll
NA
take them.
and
I'll
Malouk's
sponsor
NA.
Malouk. I'll sponsor Malouk for citizenship. Let's do it. Let's do it, Malouk. Let's make this happen.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate you, brother. I will.
Yeah.
Yeah.
High five the fist.
There it is. There we go. We make it consistent. We love to do that. All right, and that was Darfmike. Mike Darfmike Winnick. I love him. He's a great guy.
Just the aura of an S tier CS:GO caster.
A Fragadelphia superstar.
A Fragadelphia superstar. He graced us with his presence coming from Katowice to come to a Frag.
Oh,
you know?
true. You know, it really
Yeah,
is
yeah.
nice to see the big wigs not forget the little guys.
It's humbling, really, just humbling. You know?
Be in
It's
his presence. I feel just. I'm
I
so
feel
nervous.
like you could just
Feel
drink
like-
a beer with him, you know.
Oh,
like,
God,
it's
what a
like
guy.
he's
You know, on the back
just
porch.
just a real human, like, you know, it's
A
like
real guy's guy.
a real guy, real man's man,
Real man's man.
real man's
Real
man.
man's man.
It's like
Appreciate
you
it.
could just he's no James Bardolph, but like I don't think he would see that kind of guy. Like that
I don't
Frag,
know.
It's,
No, it was good. I got a chance actually to talk to him at length last night. We had a good, almost like 10-minute interview. We kind of went over casting in North America. We went over what his time at Frag was. You know, he explained, he just came in, walked in, and literally was like, hey, can I talk over some games on a stream? And they're like, yeah, sure, go right ahead. And so that's how we got it started. Yeah, we did a whole interview on that. That's what I said, you know, at the top of it.
And
We did the whole interview. Check it out on Dust2 US
Yes, yeah.
YouTube channel. We also have it on dust2.us onto our website. We also have a live blog and all of our other event coverage with major interviews, written interviews, all the fun stuff.
You can also find all of our content on Facebook in case your mom wants to read it, you know, read it or watch it.
You know, that's true. Yeah. We got to expand the socials.
Gotta expand the socials.
I can't wait to do a Renegade on the Dust2 US TikTok. You know, we'll figure that out.
You will not be finding me on a Dusty Ass TikTok.
Dude, is the Renegade still trending on TikTok? Is that a thing? I can't keep up anymore. I just scroll sometimes. All I get is like some food recommendations, some tourist recommendations. I don't get a ton. You know? You're not a TikTok guy?
I'm not a TikToker.
That's fair enough. I tried to be a TikToker. I wanted to be
Oh,
like
I
Charlie.
bet. Yeah.
You know, listen, Charlie D'Amelio, she got like 108 million followers. I was like, I could do that. I could shake my hips a little bit, you know? Mm-hmm. Turns out I can't. I'm built like a twig.
This is journalism manifest, folks.
Absolutely. Listen, it's all about the content. I've always been about the content. I'm a content grinder. It's good stuff.
If you build it, they will come. You know, it
really is true. Jacob, did we ever get that photo up on the stream? Is that why I'm seeing lots of LOLs into the chat? Is because you showed that picture? Maybe.
Listen.
Possibly. This is hurtful.
Sitting next to him right now.
Listen, folks.
I'm not sitting next to him right now. Do I have to wait? How long do I have to wait?
You were.
I were
sitting. Oh, okay.
You know what?
Listen.
I'm firing our producer.
Listen, folks.
Can't deal with
Sometimes you stare into the void and the void stares back.
I will not.
You know?
I will
It's
not
like-
be bullied like this. This is ridiculous. Okay, we got to bring it back. We got to rein it in a little bit.
We're back.
Let's bring it in.
Let's bring it
okay. So what we do need to talk about. Let's try and see if we can get any live score updates on here, because you know, I would like to see that. Where's Fragadelphia? We're hearing lots of shouting. We're hearing lots and lots of it. We're getting actually the caster's audio. I think is finally coming through. Oh, I haven't heard that in a good bit. So that's a good one.
Back.
A little
They're back,
interesting.
baby, yeah.
Well, so it was very interesting. The caster's desk is almost directly opposite the stage, and I thought that was a little bit of a misfire from Frag. I think that the casters should have been with the backdrop of the PC pit. It would have been great to kind of like whenever the camera's on them for the hosting or anything else like that. It would have been really, really cool to be able to see like all the PCs back there, all the players kind of doing their matches just after the stage match goes. So you can also really show what Frag is.
The whole point you do that is because, this space isn't just oh, look at that.
Oh my God. I'm finally seeing the actual screenshot of it, and that's okay.
This space isn't just really like a CSGO space, it's an everything space. So,
right.
Some games out there, some esports out there, not just 5 players. Sometimes they got 6, sometimes they got 3. Sometimes it's just you and your god. It's like if you're pushing the soccer ball around with your car, it's just you and the man up there. It's like, so they need the stage to do any event, for any type of event possible, and it's a great space really for anything. They got consoles, they got consoles, they got.
They do. They have a ton of the PS5s over here. They got some Xboxes spread around.
In case you're wondering, why you can't buy a PS5, Frag put it both.
Frag and Straight, they bought them all over here. No, it's actually kind of nice. All right, so I do want to talk about the results over here. Bringing it up onto the laptop. We've got the Team 1 Bad News Bears, which is a 2-0 by Team 1.
You don't like to see that.
The overpass game. That was Team 1's map pick. That was a 16-8.
You don't like to see that at all.
The first one on Nuke was a close 19-7, little overtime game there. However, interestingly here, we have TRK bottom fracking.
Oh.
Like actually not doing well at all in this series, which is a very not good thing.
But how do you do on map 2 though?
How do I do on map? Okay, so how do I do on Rest? Still bottom frack. He was the only player to go negative. You had Pesa, who absolutely dominated. He dropped a 30 bomb. Pesa's good. Pesa's a good guy.
He's a real guy.
He's a real guy's guy. No, but we're seeing TRK, who's had so far a really good event. A little worrying, kind of on Championship Sunday, when you have your best player stumbling right out of the gate against a team like Bad News Bears, which, as we talked about, weren't doing so hot either. Hearing more cheering back there. We're thinking it's clutch. There is a great crowd here, actually. There's a very loud, very flamboyant crowd. A lot of people have been able to come. There's been the Big L tournament, which was for all the knocked out teams, all the players. So able to get guys back into the arena and, in between matches, watching the stage. I think that's really, really important here.
No, that's
to make
fun.
sure that we also have
get more reps in. Oh, look
get
who it
more
is
reps,
again.
get more things.
Oh yeah.
Koi's coming back for the fish.
For his fish hat.
For the fish. Oh.
What's he doing?
Koi time activated. Koi is activated.
Koi mode.
Koi mode. Sport mode. Yeah. Koi mode.
Dad mode.
Sport mode.
Sport
mode.
Come on, do it.
Oh, I tried to trick him there. He was good. He got it.
He's just too. I'm
smart.
He's too smart. That is why he is the best.
For his own good.
I can't aim, but I'm smart.
That's why he is the coach of a university Counter-Strike team. And, good lucks.
Is Kojomo the future? What? Is Kojomo the future?
Honestly, yeah, I really like him.
Nice.
He's got a great mindset towards improving.
Hey, Kojomo fans out there, I got you. Asking the
Kojomo fans.
Kojomo facts.
Kojomo fans are celebrating
Kojomo
in the
fans
streets.
Rise up, yeah.
Absolutely. All right, well, we're going to get back to the show. We will let you go take your hat back. Thank you so much for the stop buying again. But yeah, so we had TRK bottom fragging this, and I don't know, that's a little worrying. I'm getting kind of nervous for
I'm going
them.
to disagree with you on this because I feel like a sign of a really good team is when you can have a star player not have a great game and you still win. That shows you that like the rest of the players on the team have a second gear they can go to, and that they can take over. Because I feel like an ideal team setup is where you have multiple people able to explode at once. It's not completely reliant on. For example, I would say an issue with like a team like Bad News Bears is that the older lineup sort of relied on like the trio of Swisher, Janji, and Junior. And now in this team, you don't really see I would say probably the biggest name on the team is maybe Momo. And if Momo, he's an insanely skilled player, but if he's not having like an on game, then they can't really
advance too much. Yeah, no, I agree with you on that.
Spongy's a serviceable, Spongy's like a serviceable more support style player, and he can have really amazing games, but I feel like in the traditional, where Spongy sits in all of his teams, it's like he has great players around him like Graham, or Junior, or Janji, or someone like, Infinite or other type of people around him. And if he puts up like a 1.04, 1.02, that's fine as long as there's someone to take him to the next level. But on this team, you see that if Pluto and Momo don't activate, and Slan too, if Slan doesn't activate, they're screwed. You can't really survive. You can't really survive in this meta with an opper that doesn't hit shots consistently. And I mean, we're kind of seeing that with Swan is sort of where Junior is at Junior's tier, where you need an incredibly consistent hopper. But Swan's not necessarily doing that at his level right now, and that's really concerning to me.
Yeah, I think that might unfortunately be one of the biggest problems that this Bad News Bears team has. You really gotta, you're looking at the recent matches. I get that the team has basically redone their entire identity here, but to not have, I mean, I don't know. They brought Team 1 close on the first map.
But
they might have the success there, but it is worrying when.
So Ryan, let me ask you though. So, who did they play on day 2? Please, actually, folks, I'm going to challenge him real quick. Does he know NACSGO? I'm going to say probably not. Can you name a majority, so 3 out of 5 players that Bad News Bears played yesterday on the Prison Break mixed team? Who did they barely beat? They must be pretty good, right? Really family name, good good household names for the boys, some real starlets in their prime. Who did they play yesterday, Ryan? Tell me.
Why do you do this to me?
Well,
Why do you do this to me?
Research is an important part of any.
Listen, research is
important part of any job. But they must be really amazing players, though, right?
I'm a big thinker. I'm a big talker about. I'm a macro kind of guy. I'm a big macro kind of guy. I look. The 10,000 feet, downfield view. You're much more in the numbers and the no guy. That's why you're such an important part of this Dust2 team. Aww. It makes us work so well together.
Yeah, that's so kind. What's the answer, big guy?
I look to you for the answer. That's why on Discord, when I need to know, I make sure that I DM you.
Here, I'll start you off. We have permanently banned on Face It, Droid to start.
Oh, that team. Jermaine, Droid. Oh fuck! No!
He's got this, folks.
No!
It's coming in.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Actually, no, I have no idea. I've actually got absolutely nothing. I do remember talking with them. I do remember talking about it and talking with them. I have no recollection of their famous.
He has a rare and beautiful flag on HLTV, a famous, of the independent and completely legal country of Taiwan. But who is it though?
I can't do this. Why are you making me do this?
Who is it?
I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Is
that what you want? Is that what you sick people want? Is that what you want?
It's NBG.
Oh yeah.
Malicious activity on ESCA.
It comes back to me.
It all comes back to you.
Listen. I care. You can talk to me about ATK. I know all of ATK.
Okay, let's talk about ATK. Who's on ATK?
Bowden. Truth. Modem.
Right.
Missed him. Spray's the coach, but he's not here.
Yeah, because unfortunately Spray couldn't come. His visa wasn't able to work out in time. We're really missing him. Cool guy. One of the godfathers of Israeli CS:GO. But
it's working in the head. I'm trying to figure out.
I'm trying to remember marinating in there.
I'm figuring out with the 5th. He's also one of these
famous South African player.
It begins with a D?
No.
Thinking of a completely different person.
Yeah.
Damn it. Who is it?
Starts with an F.
Fady.
There you go.
Fady. There it is. All right. So let's actually try and move on. Let's stop bullying. Let's stop bullying me for a little bit. It would be nice.
How do you feel about ATK in general, though?
Okay. In all honesty, ATK I think has had. They haven't necessarily exceeded, and when I've been watching their matches, I haven't necessarily been super excited by the way that they have performed overall. The matches have been a little close, but I think that the team needs more time. One, to mesh together with Bowden and Truth coming from Europe, with the team house out there. I know Modem, he's going to be leaving Texas. He's going to be joining the team down there in Monterey. I think they just need some more time together overall. When I was talking with Modem, he was explaining that the European players coming in, they're giving the additional help. They're kind of the saviors here onto this team, but they really need to act more like one unit, which I think is unfortunately a little bit of their detriment right now, especially when they're going to play Gaming Gladiators in the next few minutes.
Yeah, this roster, I'm a fan of rosters that are completely experimental nationality mixes. They don't, your teams I had a chance to talk to Truth about his time on BTRG, which was a Chinese team that was him, 2 Chinese players, Impression, who's a star Singaporean player, love that guy, and I believe it was Fejits from Estonia.
He's played on every single team.
He's played on every single team.
I think he's like literally played on like 40 teams.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
insane.
No, he's played with like 40 different nationalities, every single continent. Love that guy, too.
God.
Played for Greyhound, played with the Russians before. Played with, I think, a couple, like an A team. He played on Denial with like Rico. And,
yeah, oh my God.
Yeah, Rico, hey? Any Rico fans out there? No? All right. Good answer. Yeah.
No, it'll be interesting. I mean, Gaming Gladiators, I think that skill-wise and with them being together for, a longer period of time and matching, I think that they'll probably take this one in a 2-0. It'll be a 2-1 if ATK put up a good fight. We'll see. But I think that Gaming might have this one.
What do you think about that team, though? Like
which one, ATK or Gaming?
Gaming. I think we've kind of.
We've talked about it. I think Gaming's a good. Gaming is mechanically they are a good team. They're one of the top performers. Yeah. They're one of the best ones there that we have. They just don't practice. Their culture about them is bad. The way that the perception and how everyone, they don't do themselves any favors.
No.
Right? And that's really sad to see. I think that these guys coming in and showing off their abilities and storming what were essentially could have been close games overall, it'll be interesting to see how they do today throughout playoffs.
I think the thing that most frustrates me with that team is that it seems like it sort of exists as like a last chance saloon for these NA players who have for like bad attitudes towards the game, or they have some other like interpersonal issues that kind of. So you have Klazia, who bounced out of RBG because because of his attitude. He comes into Last Chance Saloon, starts playing with Choco Check. You have players like Cynic, who gets bounced from Party Astronauts for much the similar reason.
Well, technically,
yeah.
I get your point.
It wasn't a happy marriage.
Right.
It wasn't a happy marriage at Party Astronauts after the honeymoon period.
Right.
And even historically, you looked at players like Whippy, who came to that team.
Oh my God, yeah.
You remember Whippy? Yeah, who came to that team. Even Carson to an extent, when it was still 4-Pack and Retchie's team, when he bumped out of his last team, it's just like a place where players go when they're kind of like, there's nowhere else for them to go. And the excuse is always the same. It's always like, well, I can't get onto a good team because I have attitude problems, and I don't really want to practice, but I want to win money. Winning like cash cups or coming like top 4 in ECL. And it's like, sure, that's fine, but it's like if you're not here to like win, if you're not here to win and take the game seriously, like why bother? Like,
I get that point. I get that point, but I think the hard counter to that is. Sure, maybe they don't practice, maybe they don't really have any ulterior like big aspirations, but if they can come in there and with no practice still dumpster teams, like you just get better. You have to be better than the team that isn't practicing, that isn't doing everything else. If they're going to continue to dominate you and we all look at them and like, oh, well, they suck. Oh, they're not really helping themselves out. Oh, they're not doing all this. Oh, they're the bad boys. Oh, they have attitude issues. And if you are supposed to be doing everything right, you're practicing at least like 5 hours a day with a team, after school, after work, after whatever. You're making sure you maintain a professionalism on Twitter and how you interact with our players. You do FBL, you do everything. You do everything right, and you still don't beat them. I can't fault them. I really can't fault them.
I feel like it's like a dirty secret of NA teams where they kind of are like, well, these Choco Check guys don't practice, but we take the game really seriously.
We're looking.
Frank's coming back. They're doing it.
Oh, damn. Well, that is getting close.
The Danu era is upon us.
You know what? I would love to see if we can. How much time do we have left over there? 5 minutes?
5 minutes on the hour?
We'll go. Maybe we'll see a little bit longer. It would be nice to see if we get an immediate post-game reaction from any one of those players.
Let's bring Dan.
We can bring Dan. Well, only if Strafe win.
Only Strafe win.
Only if Strafe win.
If Carpe Diem.
Carpe Diem? Who should we do? I got Hex on an interview. Walco does everything.
Hang on. So, chat. If Carpe Diem win, who do you want to see? Come in here, sit next to Ryan. Let us know. All right.
Yeah. Seriously. I like that. No.
And then Strife, you don't really get to choose. It's Danny. It's Danny. All right. It's Danny.
I like that.
But so back to what we were saying about like, I don't think a lot of teams practice as much as they want you to think they practice. It's like, I know they definitely put in server time, but they definitely put like, they do their server time, they do their scrims, all of that. But when you hear about teams like talking about how they can never find other teams that are worth scrimming, I mean, the practice culture now is abysmal. Like,
yeah. Although there are a bunch of teams that are still back here that are currently doing scrims. So you have Liquid, EG, Complexity, Furia. They're all back here. They're all scrimming, especially for the RMRs, which is actually kind of nice and helpful for some of these teams. But I mean, I was talking with Danny before. I think even on Friday when he was, they just came in to do stuff. They had practice. They had scrims up the whole day. They were like, "We're here. We've been doing scrims beforehand. We're scrimming now." I don't know. I mean, maybe the scrims and what they're doing isn't the most 100% stuff, but like they're in there. They're trying to make it work. If Fury didn't think that they might be a good scrim partner, then they wouldn't accept like a scrim invitation from Strife.
I mean, I definitely think like I think Crispy's gonna put up with no bullshit from that team.
Yeah.
Like I don't think he's gonna come. I don't think he's gonna. Come into this team and be like, okay, I'm just gonna let like a mixture of like semi-professional NA players like take me for a ride, like because I talked to him and he's definitely serious about making this team like he said he's ready to like break this team down and rebuild them into like into like basically into a European style team that takes the game seriously, that doesn't do any trolling on Twitter, that doesn't troll in matches, that is just there to win. And I definitely think you're starting to see that from them. I remember at Chicago, the team would show up, play their match, win, leave, come back, play their match, leave. There was no like, the only goal for them was to win. And I mean, they didn't win the event, right? But still, it's like, I think they're growing up. I think that group of players is growing up a lot. Like,
and that's huge. And that's really what we're looking for. In terms of growing up, the things that you have to do when you grow up is you have to learn from mistakes. You have to learn from others. And a team that is definitely going to get a good learning lesson in the next few minutes is going to be Touchpoint when they have to play Apex Rebels. I don't want to be mean here. I really don't want to be mean. I really like Pose. Pose was really nice, and I have a lot of hope for him. But if Touchpoint get more than 5 rounds, I will be shocked. Like over the course of the 2 maps.
I'm not usually.
And I'm not even saying that there's a possibility for 3 maps. I'm literally just saying it's going to be 2 maps. It's going to be a 2-0. It's going to be rough.
Thank you, sir.
Big Chillin got 13 out of Apex.
I don't think they're gonna win, but I don't think it's gonna be like a joke because.
I'm fully prepared for it to be a joke.
It's weird because normally you're like the completely exuberant, like optimistic guy.
I know.
And I'm just like the guy who's just like fuck teams that don't. If you're not
putting it. Okay, it's taking a little cough break. Yeah, on Vertigo, it was like Big Chillin. It was 14. Oh, I remember that. It was 15-14. That final round that Apex won against Big Chillin. It was a 2v4 situation. One of the Apex Rebels players had like 1 HP, and one of the DVL, I think, at the end was literally hiding in the smoke and trying to set the defuse, and it was a millisecond away from going to OT. But yeah, back to what you were saying.
I'm back alive now. Yeah. The thing is like. Oh, wait, hold on.
Are we close?
Hold on.
It's a 14.
Hold on.
14-14?
He's in the 1v4, and
that's a Strife. Oh, man. That looks like we're going to probably get a Danny interview.
Looks like we're getting a Danny interview, yeah. Okay, so for Touchpoint, here's my like intangible factors that I think are in their favor.
Okay.
One, their team's been together for a pretty long time. That core has been at least like 4 or 5 seasons together. And I think they take the game relatively seriously. I don't think I've never really heard anything bad about the team from the perspective of like either not trying or just being like complete ragers. And honestly, like they haven't gotten really loud compared to other teams there. Like I think they're very like mature towards the game from at least what I've heard.
Yeah.
The only thing that's going against them is their coach. I don't think their coach can make it out with them, Cooper Trooper, but I don't know. I think as long as they play like proper CS, I think they can do maybe like a 16-6 and like a 16-8 or something. Like I think they can take like double-digit rounds against them.
Ooh, that'd be impressive. That would really be impressive.
I believe because they don't make it to day. They don't make it to day 3 by doing nothing correctly. Like.
Well, okay. So to be fair, they did have one of the easiest routes out of almost any team.
Refresh our memory. Who was in that group?
So you had Strife in that group. You had
Touchpoint.
But it was something else. Touch the something.
Tribute to,
yeah, it was like a T to something.
Tribute to tribute,
I guess. And then there was, oh no, don't make me do the, I know it was the
No, I'm not trying to trick you, because I don't know either. Like, this isn't like quiz time, you know?
Okay.
Let's go look it up. Like, this is
all right. I'll still look it up.
It's an environment of no judgment here.
I appreciate that. No, is this, oh my God, are we going OT? That was for OT, right? 15-15 OT. Oh boy, we got a game on our hands over there.
Okay,
we got a game on our hands.
Investigate.
All right, so
find out the facts for us.
So they were playing. Oh, new threat, fourth quarter.
Well, new threat's a top advanced team, so like
fourth quarter. That was the big one. Yeah, when they were in that group and when I was talking to Post, he was hands down. He's like, we have the easiest route here. We're gonna make playoffs. All we have to do is just get second in this group,
right?
And we're gonna be in no matter what. And honestly, when listen, I haven't watched much advanced ever, so I can't really say how good fourth quarter is.
Fair enough.
So what I know is that from the interview, Pose was very confident about what he was saying and who they were playing. So that's what I'm basing all of my things on.
I just think eventually there's going to be a new generation of players in advance that are like good enough to actually be in ECL like permanently.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think for me, like some of the dev import players, maybe I'm looking at like mainly those two teams impress me a lot. And I think some others at the top of the table, they're not coming to me right now, but I think there's eventually...
Oh, why aren't they coming to you right now?
Whoa. Micro level.
Well, I was getting a lot of shit over here earlier about not knowing North American CS.
Yeah. Those Mythic guys look pretty good.
Yeah, they are,
Guy,
I know that Flom guy.
Yeah.
I can tell you all about Flom.
You can tell me all about Flom?
I can tell you all about Flom. He ops sometimes.
He does, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Know who else is on Mythic?
Got it. Fuck nothing in my head about that one.
No thought, brain empty, no thoughts. Yeah.
Absolutely. All I know is Flom. So,
understandable.
I'll just go with that.
Yeah.
All right. So we are kind of heading into the later stages of our live show here today. We've done a good hour. I'm very impressed.
We'd love to get Danny on if
I think, are they just starting it?
No, they're up 16-15. So
but then we'll see. We'll see if they can do it onto this for overtime. We'll fill it right now. Who do you think is going to come away with the win here at Fragadelphia? Do I need to go first, or do you need time to think about it? You need to back it up with facts. I go off just vibes.
My brain tells me Apex Rebels.
But what does your heart tell you?
My heart actually really wants Strife to win. I like that team a lot. That
Interesting. Is that because you like Danny, the redemption story?
I love.
Do you feel that there's a personal redemption story here with 60, and you're like, this is it. This is the reason. It would be a perfect cap to it. It would be impressive.
The Danny redemption arc that started all those many years ago with joining Gen G and then not being able to go to EPL or Flashpoint because he didn't have a passport.
Oh my God.
And it culminates in him winning Fragadelphia 16. That'd be a good story. It's like, I think if Party Astronauts were here, I'd be like, maybe Party Astronauts. If Orgulus might bother to show up, if Complexity. The thing with Complexity, though, is I understand why Jason Lake was probably like, if they don't win Fragadelphia 16 and he's paying them like 5 figures a monthly, like it'd be like.
So you think it's more embarrassed? You think it's more embarrassing to just show up and lose rather than not show up at all?
Yes, definitely, 100%.
I get it from an optics standpoint. I just think it's bullshit.
Because people are so like.
People are insane.
People out there, they live among us. They post on HLTV forums. They post bad hot takes on Twitter. Those people, they post on r/global offensive. The wretched hive of scum and villainy. The Grim haters of the world, the junior haters of the world. They would never shut the hell up if they didn't win Fragadelphia 16. And they'd be completely inseparable. They'd be like, see, Stewie had a good reason for making Grim's life hell on earth. He can't deliver.
God, that was the most insane. Like, all that out after was
If I was building this team, I would add, like, it'd just be like stupid shit like, even though he's on Liquid, I would totally add OC. Like, that's not how time only flows like in one direction. Yeah, I would probably add OC too, but like, you can only play with what tools you have in the box.
Yeah.
Like, it'd be like, well, they should have imported a Euro. Like, they should have kept like Poison or something. Like, no, stop. Just make a
you saw that? What was it? Poison was playing on that Fnatic team.
He's playing on that Fnatic team. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think he's like signed with Fnatic. I think he was just playing
Regali has the boomer remover, so he can't hop in the server today.
Oh my God.
It's an instant demonetization word, so I'm just watching out for you.
I feel like it's fair enough. That is fair enough.
It's like
how are we looking
they
on
should have
score?
signed Copenhagen Flames. They're doing really good right now. Like,
true.
Shut up.
We'd love to see it. We love to see when Jeff gets a little bit of an attitude right now. It's always perfect. It took a whole hour for you to get warmed up, locked and loaded, and now you're just letting loose.
Finally, if you come from Graham, then it's personal. Like it's on site. Like I will take no grim disrespect in my live show. Yeah.
Well, we'll have a really big test for all of those teams coming up next week with the RMR. It's going to be super open.
So
all the teams are have to go through the open.
It's going to be a bloodbath.
It is going to be insane. It is really going to be impressive to see who and what teams are going to have to basically like relearn that these BO1s are just insanity. It is an hour of where you are locked. They are not locked in with you. You are locked in with them.
Like you, it's you're liquid. You're sitting at the Alienware training facility. Like you're just kind of like minding your own business. And then like a team of like 4 like Zoom bangers like face at level 10s. Like you're like a nice relaxing day of basic qualifier like 2D DAF like J Maniac like. Come around the corner, you're like, shit. Like,
just absolutely wide swing, dry peeking every single angle. There's nothing there's nothing knows how to do. They've literally been playing EUCS for so long, and they're just gonna have to get the real healthy dose.
Shock's like I want to go home. Like Adrin's like Shock's I want to go home. Adrin's like. And like, there's no like coach, there's no coach quotes for this. There's no like, there's nothing in the toolbox that can prepare me for like playing an FPL mix at 10 a.m. It's like.
It is going to be brutal. We are going to have a live show. Not really a live show, but we're going to have a show.
A shoutcast.
A shoutcasting. We're going to be covering the games all week for that. Although I do think I might have to miss one. I do have to go to a wedding on that weekend, so I won't be there for the second RMR final.
Yeah.
Wow. Brutal. Really coming at me there. Mm-hmm. But no, we'll be covering all the games there. It'll be very interesting to see. We'll try to hop between. So make sure that you guys are all tuned in for that. Stick around next week. Put it on your calendars. I'll send out a GCal invite.
We need to beat Gaulas, and we're gonna break the viewership cap. We're gonna break 200,000.
Absolutely. I'm gonna have a Gaulas moment myself.
We're gonna do true esports journalism.
Oh, we could get on. Do you think we could get on? We could be on the HLTV official stream partner. Absolutely, we should totally do it. Oh, that'd be great. I would love that. HLTV saying yes, these are the real partners. They should actually not allow any other stream on there. Just allow me, the Dust2 US.
The
stream.
conflict of interest machine. Yeah.
Listen. Always be about the content. That is my ethos for here. All right, so we're gonna look at this live score check right now. You have better eyes than me over there.
Win already, like do something.
What is it? What's the score here?
It's 17-16. Strife are winning right now, but they're in a 3v5 situation coming onto the B bomb site, and
they quickly lose control of the site. It is now a 1v3. I don't even know who that is, but it's on overpass. He's all the way back towards in lane. He's running, turning tail. They're just going to look.
Well.
All right. Well, maybe I don't think that we're going to be able to get Danny on here. It looks like it's going to be by a long one. Yeah. So we're just going to wrap up the show here. I'm going to give my official prediction, and I'm going to say that I think Apex Rebels is going to win Fragadelphia 16. I think they have been a very dominant team. I think led by Mither, they are going to have an extra bit of a factor than any other team here. What's your final prediction was?
Brain. Apex Rebels, Heart, Strife.
Strife might not even make it out of this own match, so who knows?
You say that, but like
it's getting close.
In this economy, an overtime match can go on forever. Like it can just
never end.
It can never end.
Well, all right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in to the Dust2.us TV live show.
Brought to you by Dust2.us.
Brought to you by Dust2.us. Helped out with Fragadelphia. Shout out to Fragadelphia and to Nursery for helping us get the couches here, a little bit of the setup. We got a network cable, so we're all good. Big shout out over to our great producer friend.
He's just sitting there,
Jacob,
folded over,
sitting right on the laptop.
Crisscross applesauce.
His back is killing him by the end of this, bringing all the equipment for us to do this impromptu live show.
We
only really thought of this only
a
few days ago, so it's impressive for us to be able to put all this together. We're hoping that we can go do more of these events and more stuff like this in the future. We'll see how that all works out. But just to wrap up, thank you all for tuning in. We're going to go watch some Fragadelphia games.
And you should too. Yeah.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. We don't even have a script here. We're doing it off the dome. All right, guys. Thank you so much. Make sure to tune in next week for the RMRs. And that's all from me.
And that's all from me too.
See you later.